Oh, you didn't have to stand up, but I appreciate it. Welcome everyone, it's really great to be here again. Jody, where's Jody? Jody, make sure I speak before the guest speaker next time, all right? Very. I'm not even going to try. It's really great to see everyone here. It feels like we were almost here yesterday. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for being here. Thank you to Nizama, that was really, really excellent, and I look forward to chatting to you afterwards and hopefully seeing the video, but it was really, really inspirational. I want to, as always, thank the Moshal staff. The reality is that they make it look easy, they make me look good, but the fact is they're really doing all the hard work. All I have to do is I have to come, pitch up, say a few words, and they do everything else. And that really is the truth. So thanks Jody, Val, Mandy, Deborah, Shanaz, Simon, Knox, Nicole and Serena. It really, really is appreciated. The fact is that the program could not work the way it goes without all the hard work that they do. And some of you will see what they do in action, some less so, but there's a hell of a lot of work that happens behind the scenes to make sure that we can get you through your university career. Also, obviously, special thanks to Corinne and Azuko, who we have back temporarily, but really great to see you. Kate, as always, thank you for all your hard work, it's really appreciated. You know, I just have to say, hey, this is roughly what we need to do, and you make it all happen, so really appreciate it. And obviously, it's great to have Yael here. I sent Yael, I think it was 09, I didn't actually realize that, I'd forgotten, 08. I said, look, this is what I'd like to do, let's go make it happen. She said, no problem, I'll go make it happen, and that was that. There were a couple of details that perhaps were left out, but we really sat down, plotted as to what we wanted to do, and it's really great to see it starting to come to fruition. We still really are new at this, we're still learning all the time, and we're hoping that you can give us good feedback as to how we can make this better. At first, I've discussed many things, but I most importantly would like to welcome the new Moshal Scholars to our program. Welcome. Jody, how many new scholars have we got?
125.
125 of you, so we're excited to have you on board. I imagine all of you are probably on the periphery. The first years always seem to be a bit scared of everyone and stay away from us, and they realize over the years that we don't bite, and they move forward. We're excited to have you all on board, and I really look forward to meeting all of you over the next few years. We promise to work with you to ensure that you get the best out of your university career. This promise comes with obligations on your part. We are partners. We will pay for your education at university, and you need to do all you can on your part to work hard and pass well. You don't need to pay us back, but you do need to pay it forward. What does this mean? This means that over your life and career, where you have an opportunity to help others, you will do so. It does not necessarily have to be with money. As you have been helped, so you will help others, where you see the need and the opportunity. You will hear much more about this over the next few years. Each year, I try to find a topic which I hope will be of interest to all of you and which has been playing with my mind. Following on Kate's lead, pun intended, I want to talk to you all about leadership. The world is currently a very strange place. We are seeing a polarization amongst people across many countries. People are being driven apart rather than joining together. Differences are being emphasized and exaggerated rather than the far greater commonalities that we all share being emphasized. Times like these call for leadership. Nature abhors a vacuum, and where there's a dearth of leadership, it is incumbent upon all of us to fill the gap. One of the great rabbis in Judaism, Rabbi Hillel, who lived more than 2,000 years ago, says, "In a place where there are no men, strive to be a man." And what he meant is, in a place where there are no leaders, strive to be a leader. If we don't, it will be filled by rogues and despots whose intentions and consequences may be the exact opposite of what they espouse. But leadership goes way beyond just politics. Leadership is required through all walks of life. As Moshal Scholars, I genuinely believe you all have the ability to be leaders in some form or another. In order to discuss leadership, we obviously need to know what is meant by the concept itself. So obviously I go to Google, what other search engine is there? And when you go to Google, the definition of leadership you get includes some pretty standard definitions. I don't want to bore you too much, not yet anyway, but I'd like to read out a few, so please bear with me. A technical definition might be that leadership involves establishing a clear vision, sharing that vision with others so that they will follow willingly, providing the information, knowledge, and methods to realize that vision, and coordinating and balancing the conflicting interests of all members and stakeholders. It might be a good definition, but boy, it's a bit technical and wordy. So I continued searching. A better definition might be that leaders help themselves and others to do the right things. They set direction, build an inspiring vision, and create something new. Leadership is about mapping out where you need to go to win as a team or as an organization. This is still rather restrictive in my mind. Here is one I found on a website that is getting a bit closer to my thinking. What is leadership? A simple definition is that leadership is the art of motivating a group of people to act towards achieving a common goal. It continues. This leadership definition captures the essentials of being able to inspire others and being prepared to do so. Effective leadership is based upon ideas, whether original or borrowed, but won't happen unless those ideas can be communicated to others in a way that engages them enough to act as the leader wants them to act. Put even more simply, the leader is the inspiration and director of the action. He or she is the person in the group that possesses the combination of personality and leadership skills that makes others want to follow in his or her direction. I still think this lacks something. I want to expand the definition of leadership to include being an example. The name Moshal has its roots in the Hebrew word mashal, mem, shin, lamed. In Hebrew, these roots can loosely be interpreted either as a leader or an example. In other words, in the name Moshal, the Hebrew root for leader and example is one and the same. Just by being an example, you can be a leader. It has been drummed into me, especially on important family occasions, that it's important for me to live up to my name. I urge you all to live up to the name too, and I believe you are all capable of this. To a large degree, all of you are already leaders, whether you feel like it or not. You stand as an example and hopefully as a role model to your family and your community. Many of you are the first in your family and perhaps your community to go to university. This alone will make you an inspiration for many, an example for others to follow and emulate. I believe that leadership is an iterative process. What do I mean by such a word? I mean that leaders learn from others as much as others learn from them. I would even suggest that a leader that cannot learn from others cannot be a good leader. Leadership requires empathy, And so when you're becoming involved in leadership positions, no matter what they are, it will form a large part of your learning, even as others learn and are inspired by you. We mustn't just think of leadership as just being the boss. Leadership can come through ideas you have, through the innovations you might come up with, through the better thoughts that you may have from which others might learn. This can apply to all your studies and what follows. This means that leadership can be accidental. It may not be that you set out to be a leader, but we can all become one based on our behaviors and our actions. We may only be a leader to one individual, but that alone that may be enough to change the world. Leadership and the power that comes with it can also be a result of the influence you have with other people, in a small way within your peer group or within your wider social or work sphere. This influence might come from others seeing what and how you do things and wishing to emulate what you have done. The leader is not necessarily just the individual that gets up and motivates people. It can just as easily be the quiet or reserved individual sitting in the corner doing great things, or coming up with great ideas which others appreciate and follow. Thought leaders are perhaps, over time, far more important than some of the other traditional leaders that we may think of. Likewise, every field and subspeciality can have its leaders. These are leaders that may not necessarily be appreciated or understood by individuals outside of that sector or industry or even time. We all have different roles in our lives, roles which we fill simultaneously. I am a husband, father, son, brother, work colleague, customer, and so on. So too, we can be leaders in some roles and be followers in others. This is natural and healthy. If we do not follow others, if we are not inspired by others, we would all make pretty poor leaders. It's quite probable and possible that many of you will not get to rule a country. Many may not even get to run your own business. That's fine, but it doesn't preclude you from being a leader in many, many other areas that you'll find over your lives and careers. You will have the ability to be a leader in your community, your work, and your family. Within your community, you will have many avenues within which to inspire and lead others. This may be at your local church, mosque, or school. Don't underestimate what you can contribute. Within your work, you will have multiple opportunities over your career to inspire and lead others. Grab the opportunity wherever you can. Not only will you be enriching others, but you will most certainly enrich yourself in the process. Many of you will hopefully, not just yet, go on to have families. This might be the greatest leadership role and opportunity you will have, to teach and lead the next generation. On a personal note, when I look at my family, the risk of being immodest, we're led by a caring, fantastic, wonderful, loving, committed leader that wants only the best for the family. If you were to ask my kids, they would say the same leader is slightly dictatorial and strict. Obviously, I'm talking about my wife. She's my leader too. Whoever we...
Right, who has a question? Okay, Mandy.
No, just before we start. So Jodie, first I say don't make me go after Moshal, but now you put me on the same stage as him. I mean, come on!
Right, Mandy had a question down there.
Okay, so this is Martin to Martin.
All right, next reserved for you, right?
I'm trying to ask, I don't really know what was your source of motivation that kind of take you to decide to support us and be the, successful person that you have become.
Okay, great question. And I probably get it asked every year, but I'm actually happy to answer it every year because it's important. As I was saying to someone earlier today, the best way to sometimes communicate things is to over-communicate. And the fact is I've been very lucky. I've had ups and downs, as we all do, but mostly ups. And it's important to me to give back, to share my luck with others. And one of the things in thinking, what should I do? How do I share my good fortune with others? Was through education. I really believe that the leverage I can get through assisting people with education is far greater than if I would put the money to virtually any other use. I think other than public health, and you can see that's what Bill Gates has chosen, it's very, very hard to have a very, very big influence and very, very large leverage on money. I did a degree in finance, so I'm looking for return on investment. And education, I believe, is where you get the best, one of the best returns on investment when it comes to philanthropic giving. The reality is that we're just writing the checks. All of you have to put a lot of effort and a lot of man-hours in to get the degrees that you do, and are then going into the workforce where you're going to be doing great things for the economy, for employment, for yourselves, for your family, for your community. So for every dollar or pound or euro or rand that gets invested, one's getting a multiple return. Yes, it's not coming to me, but it's a multiple return on the investment and the giving that one is actually doing. And you will have heard it many times, and you would have seen on the video, rather than give somebody a fish and feed them for a day, give them a fishing rod and feed them for life. So in summary, in looking at how to give back, I think education is one of the best ways to actually do that, and it's hopefully just the start. I say every year there's lots of other things in education that I'd like to be doing which I'm not doing yet, but I do think that financially is one of the best leverages and return on investment.
Thank you.